P.O.C. regarding vagina monitoring that AGS is engaging in with this actor right here, which is, again, Michael Dorsey, a violent sex offender. And he's even walking out so you can witness him. This is federal prison. AGS is also being criminally prosecuted. And the entity is stalking with helicopter, engaging in this ongoing tradition of stalking by helicopter as I walk outside of the Fontana Lewis Library that maintains a fake sun from morning until evening. This is while also how it mysteriously was over me in San Bernardino, California, where Darren Goodman is revisited as a terrorist, which I already established as a matter of evidence. This is the same entity, Michael Dorsey and Darren Goodman. These are terrorist organizations that shall no longer exist. This is the criminal expenditure of resources on domestic terrorism, where they're engaging in what is terrorism by keeping vagina and bathrooms under surveillance with gang stalkers who are hiding themselves as security companies. No, they're not. They're demons that are stalking with light. And this is also federal prison, just sitting in the car, stalking with light with the Fontana police. And that is literally the strict liability basis to put this sex offender in prison. License 9KFN131. And this is the RICO case against American Guard Services, while the Fontana police are stalking in the bathroom, which you'll see in the images of a bunch of sex offenders pacing in and out, while psychopaths are outside aiming light. License 6LUX729. This is the significance of a fake sun over a venue where the mentally ill are stalking with light. This is what you're seeing them do with vehicles that are used to identify not just the particular sex offender, but the pattern of conduct shared by the entity. And this is where Lisa Hazen would be federally prosecuted. I'm going to prosecute Lewis Library. This is San Bernardino County. That does not need a facilitating venue for surveillance with minors. That's what she's engaged in. And this is the entity that's doing so while they're also monitoring the evidence, which all the vagina monitors are hostile about. So this is what the sex offender is engaged in. This is relevant positioning. And this is the entity that's engaged in what is surveillance inside of a bathroom. And they're doing so with a bunch of psychopaths who are in engineered light. Their shadows are going underneath the sink and outward. That's impossible light activity, while this is pacing, coming in and out. This is what they're doing on the freeways, on the roads and the highways under the fake sun. And they wait until my vagina is in a position inside of the restroom in order to engage in that. That's predatory and mentally ill behavior that Michael Dorsey is sharing in. Michael Dorsey is therefore responsible for it. And it's the same analysis with regard to a fake sun where Darren Goodman is stalking. Darren Goodman is stalking, and that's a basis of prison. And it's also a basis of what is removing what are gang members and terrorist organizations like the San Bernardino Police Department. Criminal waste of expenditures. This is the ability to discover profound resources where the entities engage in criminal conduct with the people of the state who are maintaining surveillance inside of these venues. This is what an entity is doing while they are waiting for me to go into the restroom as the library is getting ready to close down. It's 6 p.m. right now. The alarm is audible activity. The entity is not typically sounding the alarm at closing time. It's because I'm documenting right now, which is, again, the focal point of everything that's happening amongst the demon-possessed population is centered around me and my vagina. That is literally the evidence to demonstrate you will not keep a library for the county. You will not keep a city police department that's engaged in surveillance, that's engaged in what is this criminal use of resources like the expenses pertaining to a helicopter that you're using so that sex offenders can keep you under surveillance in a bathroom. This is the entity that's engaging in that, and it is engaging in what is the sex offense with the people of the state, who are homosexuals over and under the age of majority, practicing predatory conduct with demons that are crawling into helicopters, and they're wasting millions of dollars using SWAT vehicles. That's what Fontana Police, that's what Michael Dorsey is committed to in order to engage in stalking one person. This is, again, the evidence that's going to remove Fontana Police altogether. This is the entity that's engaging in kidnapping. That's the evidence that's going to remove Ontario Police altogether. This is the entity that's committing kidnapping in Upland, California. This is the evidence that's going to remove the Upland Police Department altogether. The entity that's engaging in this level of the waste of expenditures where the entity is engaging in terrorism in the United States, and they're engaging in what are maintaining a population, targeting them while spending criminally resources on that criminal system, okay? This is P.O.C. I just want to be clear, Lisa Hazen is being federally prosecuted. She's not remaining as a job, as any manager for any county. She's prosecuted. This is the entity, and this is speaking to what is a template. You're going to be prosecuted as a terrorist. You're not keeping your current job, and you also won't be rehired with regard to the inability to get past a background check when you are prosecuted as a terrorist. This is also the loss of county buildings like the library, county buildings like where the entity is maintaining surveillance at the transitional assistance department where surveillance is underway, and the entity is committing fraud while they are stealing from a wealthy person who has been put into the position of being impoverished, receiving food stamps, and yet they're gang stalking me, and they know exactly who I am while they're engaging. That's fraud. While they're engaging with providing those food stamps, while simultaneously engaging in the pattern of conduct. The pattern of conduct directly proves that you know exactly who I am while you're sharing in the theft, in the criminal monitoring. That is the evidence supporting that San Bernardino County shall not maintain a transitional assistance department. And it is also the fact, because everyone in San Bernardino County is engaged in domestic terrorism, where the government will not be providing any assistance to the people of the state under any circumstances for housing, for food. They will not be, no terrorist is getting any government assistance. All right, this is the pattern of conduct. This is the terrorist who is being removed from office. She will not be remaining in office while the entity is practicing this pattern of conduct. Aquanetta Warren is removed from office by virtue of the Fontana Police Department gang stalking. And it is vice versa. The people of the state engaging in gang stalking is the evidence removing Aquanetta Warren from office for gang stalking. This is also the entity that is removing Michael Dorsey from position while the people of the state, and while that department is providing evidence, gang stalking me, you're not remaining in office. And it is also the basis to remove the ability for terrorists to fund their regime while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct in the U.S. And that's exactly what's going to happen. While Michael Dorsey has shown the ongoing determination and purpose to maintain surveillance in the face of what is federal repercussions for his co-defendant, Aquanetta Warren, but also with regard to what is being entirely un-American and sharing in criminal activity, sexual violence with minor children, doing so in what is an absurd manner, such as pertaining to my vagina, and then you're engaging in stalking in helicopter, which is very costly, while you're monitoring my evidence, all of which is unlawful, while he is also a demon, unfit by virtue of that mentally ill condition. This is the P.O.C. at the Fontana Lewis Library, where the entity maintains the fake sun, and the rainy day is no deviation from that same pattern of conduct. What AGS is doing in the vehicle, what the demons are doing, aiming their headlights toward the entrance while the entity is flying over by helicopter, this is the same pattern of stalking with light. This is what the entity is doing as I am already showing the evidence of a fake sun being over this venue from morning until evening, which is impossible to be the natural environment. Excuse me. All right, this is the documentation regarding what are cities within the state that are going to be federally prosecuted. This is the federal RICO, and it's also the basis of removing the ability to further finance and fund terrorism, which is removing terrorists like San Bernardino County and the venues that they're using for criminal activity, removing terrorists like Aquanetta Warren and Michael Dorsey from office. And this is also proven while the entity is maintaining that specific environment, which is relevant to the P.O.C. where the fake sun is present, and that's evidence that remains on the record, and it is supporting removing terrorist regimes like the city of Fontana. Where at the city of Fontana, I can document the supernatural, which is excluding the fact that Florida, for example, even Nevada, Arizona, or even anywhere in Northern California, and even Ontario, California, where the entity has the fake sun over me at 8:43 a.m. at 8437 Sierra Avenue, this very Fontana Lewis Library, and I'm inside of this location in the afternoon, right here at the bottom, and I'm looking at the same position of the fake sun. Hanging over the edge of this building is exactly where it's at while I'm inside of the Lewis Library at 8437 Sierra Avenue at 2:05 p.m., which I captured on video. This is where the entity shall be subject to what is a loss of the ability to further finance terrorism, which Michael Dorsey is engaged in, and he's going to be subject to a federal prosecution for that. In fact, no terrorist is going to be successful. Michael Dorsey shall be subject to prison. And every kidnapper, every one that's engaged in what is stalking at wearing these uniforms, using these vehicles in helicopters like Jay Escarpi on video, gang stalking me on more than one occasion, he's going to prison. Like McMillan, he's going to federal prison. This is the entity that's engaged in that, and this is how you're going to strip down domestic terrorism in the U.S., and also how you're going to recover the funds that domestic terrorists have hijacked in order to keep American citizens subject to war and exercising war tactics against them in furtherance of murdering and kidnapping them. And it is underway at the city libraries, such as what Fontana Lewis Library, which is San Bernardino County, is engaging in. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:09 p.m. This is ongoing terrorism that I'm subject to while the entity is tracking my steps, not coincidentally crossing path by helicopter while the demons are in position with light activity. This is that criminal cooperation with regard to surveillance that's underway as an entity while they are inside in the venue, tracking my steps, including tracking the status of my vagina, okay? They're engaging in what is monitoring everything that I'm doing, stalking while sitting at the computers. This is the pathetic conduct of the demons that are waiting to engage in that pattern of conduct so that you can just fly by me in what is a failed ritual. Michael Dorsey's mental illness is put before the world, which is also evidence to remove any police officer that's engaging in the satanic pattern of conduct. They are a threat to themselves and the public. Moreover, they're engaged in terrorism, which is un-American, and it is the act of war against American citizens. And you're going to be prosecuted and you will be removed. And you'll also be subject to mental examinations. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:10 p.m.